All right. Quishan, sir, tell me about what you have thought about business differently since our last meeting, if anything.
If anything different from what I did know or what I didn't know, um, really, it's relating to funding and how we can gain funding from other nonprofit organizations. So sometimes we look at funding resources that may be governmental or maybe impartial, but I discovered somewhere through my studies that even stakeholders or shareholders can also be investors to help fund your business. Yes.
Okay. So making sure the understanding kind of the new dynamic of how do you get funding
Yeah.
was kind of your takeaway from the week.
Yeah. That's part of it. Yeah. And
Okay.
another is the legalization, the mitigation of legalities. I've been
Mitigation of what?
the mitigation of legalities.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times in my history of attending various different 501c3 businesses where they weren't completely licensed were in jeopardy of losing their business. Such venues of churches,
Mm-hmm.
religious organizations that did not have legal background were not, supported by the government or were not authorized to operate, and they were in jeopardy. So that's a frightening issue right there to answer that question of what are you afraid of when it comes to business, and that's one of fear of being revoked.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and because of not having proper licensing, or even if you do have licensing but not following legislations when it comes to 501c3s, what to do and what not to do when you're operating that kind of business entity. So that answers those two questions for the homework, for one question for the homework and the immediate question that you asked at the beginning of this conference call.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anthony, Reggie, welcome. We're having problems getting you in, but we're going over this week. Like since our last time together on Monday, what have you learned or what have you thought about, and what are you afraid of or concerned about in business?
Okay.
Okay. So one thing I really started to. Oh, go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah, go
Yeah, go
ahead,
ahead, Anthony.
Anthony.
Yeah, go ahead, Anthony.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, the one thing I learned from like the first day, just kind of like, how to like, I kind of more so thought about my target market because when you asked me my question, it kind of threw me a curveball. I started naming people, and he was like, "That's not really your customer." You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Not you feel me, but I'm not. It's not really my customer. So I was like, "Dang, you have a really good point. I really should think about like who am I trying to like more so push my services towards."
Mm-hmm.
So that gave me more thought process. And then I think I'm most scared of, like I said, I think the most scary part is like I guess growing, really, because it's like you have so much potential, and it's like dang, you have to put in all the work to get to that potential, so you kind of be open to doing it. So I think that's what I would most be scared of.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Reggie.
Okay, yeah. So along the lines of what Anthony was saying, I was really kind of focusing on what I or how I wanted my ideal client to be.
Mm-hmm.
So we were speaking about specific people, so I was kind of going off that same kind of direction as to who's an actual person in my life currently that I want
Mm-hmm.
to be a customer.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it was geared towards people that I went to college with, since I did go to a music school, as
Mm-hmm.
well as
Mm-hmm.
people that I've met who kind of want to get into the entertainment industry. So
Okay.
a lot of things like that, and really focusing on how I want them to, I guess, accept my business and kind of move forward with it. And yeah, just the ideal qualities of my ideal customer.
Okay, I appreciate that. Aisha won't be able to interact with us a lot, but I encourage you, Aisha, if you can get on, jump on. You want to throw something in the chat, that's fine as well, and I'll respond to it. So one of the assignments was the idea sorter, and everybody completed that. So thank you all for completing that. What was the that form, that page that had the form on it? What was kind of your feedback? What did you find? How did you find the process to go? Did it cause you to think about anything differently? Was it helpful?
Yeah, it did cause me to think about things a bit differently. I'm still, of course, I kind of want to see the results from it, because some of the questions I was kind of like I think I know where you were trying to go with it,
Gotcha.
but I don't know how, like, what will come from it. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
More insight.
Okay. You got anything, Quishon?
I need to improve on my research skills because I didn't complete that yet. So I need to go back and dive in. I need to improve on my research skills.
Okay, no
Basics
problem.
of not the more advanced research skills, but the basics of it, just doing the basics.
Okay. So what I'm going to show you all, I'm going to share my screen in just a second. I had one of my friends complete it. Try to share screen. Had one of my friends complete it. Let me know when you guys can see this. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is kind of the report, the way that I use the report to help people with small businesses, help people think through the ideas. So this, the name, business name, or whatever, the first thing that you'll notice is that there's a composite score. Now, the reason that I created this form in the first place was to really help people who were struggling with multiple business ideas. Like Cortez is a great example. Like last time he told us that he's thinking of between real estate, the mobile video game business, and real estate, mobile video game business. And what was the other one? Can't remember what the last one was. I'm sorry. So there were three. So what happens a lot of times is that, as you are thinking about your business idea, there's no real way for you to, when you kind of do some of these other things to compare them, you wonder, like, is your emotions get in the way as opposed to just a really good reflection. I appreciate the point that you all made about, not quite sure what I meant when I said things like knowledge. Let me finish. I'm sorry. The composite score. So the composite score kind of gives you a summary of how you feel you are prepared for that particular business opportunity. More so, when you have multiple business opportunities, it gives you an opportunity to have a number that you can compare business opportunity 1 against business opportunity 2. And so that's the idea behind the composite score. Now, as I use this to help people, what I realize is that in all of these categories, the highest score you can get is 25. So I started looking at the difference between, like for passion, 25 out of 25. But places like the obstacles that she faces, the resources and funding, that those things are ones that I would focus on, because those are the scores she got in those categories. Or supplies, I would focus on the lower ones, because the lower ones would be the place that I think we could have the most impact in improving her business. I also go down and then I look at the preparation, because if you notice, the first set of questions were about your competition. What I have found is that people respond more objectively or more objectively about their competition than they do themselves. And many times with their competition, they're actually more critical. and than they are themselves. We tend to give ourselves, many of us, not all of us, but many of us give ourselves a level of the benefit of the doubt that other people, that we don't necessarily give other people. So we take the score where the first score where you decided by looking at your competitors how important a particular thing was to business success. Now let me take a step back. One of the other important things about this tool for me is that this is your reflection. You get to decide how important, based on what you know, how important experience is to doing your business, how important the laws and regulations are to doing your business. And you also determine how important they are. And then you also get an opportunity to tell how prepared you are in those areas. And those things together is a self-reflection, a reflection of where you are about your business opportunities. And so I have to edit you all's individually, and I want to send it to you guys, but I'm just going to continue to use hers. Okay. So if we look at laws and regulations, we see that she believes that the 5 is the importance, but she's only prepared up to a 3. And then again, really rough estimates. This is how she feels. So this would tell me that we need to spend a lot of time, or at least as I'm getting ready to work with her, I need to focus more on the laws and regulations piece because she doesn't feel prepared. Now, this is just a guide and a tool that I use to try to help me help small businesses and help them think through where they are. Because I've also realized that when I say things about industry, they don't understand what I'm talking about. And so real talk, some people don't realize that the businesses business is divided into industries. And sometimes your one business can be in 3 or 4 different industries. And so really getting them to take an opportunity to understand those types of things and really and really have conversations about how these things are relevant to their businesses. Does that help with with how the form works?
Yeah.
Any other questions? Because I want to make sure that when I send this to you this evening, because I'll have you all's finished this evening. And the video will be up tomorrow. Oh wow, I am so out of it. If you all are having some challenges getting in contact with Erica, I'm not sure how many of you all know, but Erica's grandmother has had a stroke and they're not quite sure what the status of her health is. So, if you are a praying person, please say a prayer for Erica. If you are not, please just take a moment and send her some positive energy to help comfort her and her family during this time. And positive, the most positive outcome for her grandmother that she can have. So if you are having challenges getting in contact with her, that might be why. All right, so and it was really weird to just drop it in, but she just texted me and it reminded me.
Yeah, I just texted her.
Okay. So that's how I use it. Now the thing is that when you all schedule an appointment with me, we're going to use this. We're going to use this to kind of go over where you are, and this is how I do the diagnostic and how I will engage. But remember, this is your business. I may look at hers and say, you know what, looking at where you are, we need to focus a lot on your equipment and we need to focus on the technology. Let's go. And she may say, no, we need to focus on resources and funding. Well, it's her business. This is just my tool to help guide her and guide our interaction so that we stay focused on the things that we can have the biggest impact on from my vantage point. And so when I'll go through these and when I'll look at it, and if it's 4 or 5, I'll choose one of these things. Well, no matter what the number is here, the score is, I'll choose one of these saying that you may need some more resources. Seems like you are ready, and it seems like you are well prepared based on what your score here says. And I also have put together kind of a set of questions about like the knowledge, like how you get knowledge. Like if one of the areas that you need development in is knowledge, well, these are the kinds of things that you can do. If the area is experience, law and regulations, resources and funding, passion, obstacles, industry, equipment, technology, supplies, planning, and customers. Oh, and operations. So a lot of so this is how this tool works and how the report out goes. The cool part for you guys is that we are going to cover all of these things in this process. Will you make it to a place where you feel that you are a 5 on getting it? Maybe, maybe not. But we're going to at least get you to a point, get you so that you're headed in that direction. And yeah, so that's what I'm excited about. Wanted to go over that with you guys. What else? Oh, did you all see that that on Monday that I have a what do you call it? I had the replay for Monday's class on the page.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. So
Yeah, so you put it up.
Okay, so wasn't sure if anybody wanted to go through that. Because I know sometimes it really is helpful to go back and go over some stuff just to remember what got said and things of that nature. So let's see what else. You all pulled together your target market, your 3 to 10 people. Before I go on, is there any other questions that you all have, something that you wanted to talk about before we get to kind of starting the process of talking about the target market?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I have any questions.
Okay, cool. So wanted to find out if you all, to talk a little bit more about the target market. Like I said, the video will drop not tonight, but tomorrow. So by tomorrow morning, there'll be a week, just like we have the week 1 page, you'll have the week 2 page up, and it'll have the video and everything in it. And that one's going to be really heavily talking about target marketing. And how, now that you have identified these 3 to 10 individuals that you want to be part of your target market, what do you do with that? So I wanted to talk about, kind of extend the conversation that we had on Monday about target market and what is it that you are looking for. I know we went over a couple of people just kind of on the fly on Monday, but I wanted to, now that you all have had a few days to go over it, to think through the people, if you wanted to run some of your selections by me, and we can really talk about whether they are the target market for you or not, or how you came about, how you thought through whether they were the target market, and if that's something that you can replicate later. So I would ask for a volunteer who wants to share about how they came up with one or a few of the names on their target market list.
Sure, so I can go first.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I was thinking about who I wanted my target audience to target market to be,
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of reflecting on the people that I kind of went to school with,
Mm-hmm.
who want to be more engaged in their artistic careers.
Mm-hmm.
So people who don't know a lot about the actual business behind the music industry,
Mm-hmm.
who are respectful, willing to pay on time, as well
Okay.
as people who are willing to learn. I feel like a lot of people in the industry are very, I know this, or I know what I can do to further my career. But I want people who are actually willing to say, "Oh, okay, I never thought about it from that perspective."
Okay. Now, did you come up with these criteria and then you found people, or did you look at your people and pull these criteria from them?
There's a bit of both, actually. So a lot of
Okay.
the people, I would say maybe 4 out of the 6 people that I had were more so like, okay, these are the qualities that they have. That's why I would want them to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The other 2 I was kind of just like, okay, well, these people also kind of fall into that. So they would definitely be my target market as well.
Okay. One of the examples I use on target marketing and why to do it in with real people, because if let's say I wanted to get, and I often use relationships as a metaphor for business, because no matter how much experience anyone has had in business, most of us have had enough relationship experience where we can extrapolate the meaning. And so let's say I wanted to get remarried. And I came up with this idea of my perfect woman. Like my perfect woman, I've come up with an idea of who she is. The problem with that person is that she only exists in my mind. She's an amalgam of the best things that I like out of a lot of different people. And I put them together to make her. My perfect woman laughs at all my jokes, no matter how dad jokey they are. She loves them. I even have a story about how I met her in the grocery store. But she only exists in my mind. I can't find her in real life because she doesn't exist in real life. And what ends up happening is that now I've been on the receiving end of this, where a person I was dating had this idea of what I should be. Like, well, you're a lawyer, so you should be like this. I was like, well, no, I'm me, and I'm going to act like the fuck I'm going to act. So if that's going to be a problem, then I'm not the right one for you. Same kind of thing. If you are looking at your customers as an extension of your best interests, or as the amalgam of all of these perfect customer characteristics, what you end up doing is that you end up not preparing for the downside. Because again, I am a wonderful, generous, brilliant person, but I also get an attitude real quick and I go off. So if you are only dealing with the good parts of me, you are not prepared to deal with the bad parts. I lose interest in things fairly easily. And so if you're marketing to William, you are marketing to someone that loses to you need to, because I study marketing. So you need to step it up. You need to have some level of personal interaction, or somebody. I am very much influenced by individuals who I either associate with or whom I respect. But if you were looking at me as your potential customer, but looking at some of the characteristics, like I like technology, or I'm a business leader, you may miss an opportunity to you won't be prepared for when I go off. So I like the fact that you understood enough about your business to understand the characteristics of individuals that you wanted, and you use those characteristics to actually find real people. But please make sure as we move forward that the stuff that we're tailoring and the questions that you're answering for those individual people, one at a time, just one at a time, that answer them all for each individual person that you feel is a target market. And also you start realizing how important people are, because after you answer questions about one person, then you're looking at the other 5, 6, 7 going like, okay, I don't want to answer questions for all of these. So now let's sort them back down. Who am I really thinking that they're my best customers? And part of it is that this process, not just the information that you come up with. That's one of the things I cannot stress about business and the way that we're going to do this enough. It is about process. The act of you writing these things down, the act of you asking yourself these questions, the act of you thinking about these questions. I'm not just trying to help you get your business started. I'm trying to make sure that you are on a pathway for sustainability, that you can keep your business open and keep it growing. Because when you come up with the next challenge, when you are trying to analyze opportunities, you will already have those thought processes that help you analyze these opportunities and compare and figure out what resources you need and all of that. So please don't shortcut the process, because the processes will get you to a point where not just you have an open business, but you have a business that you can be proud of and actually helps you achieve your goals. All right, let's head over to Anthony. So your target market, you got some people you want to share and how you got them? Anthony? Anthony? I think Anthony might be having a tech problem.
Yeah, I'm here. My bad.
There you go.
My Wi-Fi lag. Can you repeat the question for me?
Oh, no problem. I was saying, do you have any of your the people you've identified as target or potential customers, and you want to share some stuff about them, how you came up with them?
One target customer I named on my homework assignment. Her name was on her social media platform, so I don't know her last name. Her name is African Glow.
Okay.
I would that's someone I would enjoy working with, but also if she was to hit me up, she would be a good customer, because since she's been modeling for a while too, that would give me more space to work with her in a sense. So
She'd
the next
have
person
more
I named was Kayla.
opportunities. She'd have more opportunities for shoots, so you can build your portfolio.
Yep, basically. And the next person I named was Kayla. I forgot her last name, but she's an inspiring model. She's actually hit me up recently to do shoot for us, which is also paying me.
Okay.
So yep. That's one. And then the next thing I said was sex workers. So what I mean by sex work, people who do like the OnlyFans type of
Oh yeah,
thing,
yeah. Commercial
strippers.
sex work is real big.
Yeah. So like for they're about their money, and most of
Yes.
the time like they do want pictures, and depending on how it goes. The only problem is working with them is they're ready on a go type of fast. So like it's
Yes.
in like a spare of the moment. Like, oh hey, are you available right now?
Right.
It's not like a plan out type of thing. So that does kind of suck.
So one of the ways that you can do that, and we can talk about this more as we start navigating the. So let me take a step back. Your commercial sex workers or people with OnlyFans, start identifying one of them. Because remember, we're not trying to market to a group. At this point, we're trying to develop the plan for the one.
Okay.
And poor you, you may have to surf OnlyFans for a little while to find a customer. Oh no, poor you.
I know I know a girl that has OnlyFans here. They were cool. So
okay. So again, actually, that she would be a wonderful person to utilize, especially if you already have an existing friendship, because you can ask her questions about, have you ever purchased anything like that? Have you ever purchased photos before? How much did they charge you? What did you like them? You have somebody. That's one of the beauties of having people you've already done business with or people that you know personally. But especially if the people you know personally are capable of paying, because that's not the same thing. Um, to get information from them about what influences their decision, and especially given your current relationship, it'll give you an opportunity to get some really quality information that you can use. Again, kind of like my ideal woman situation. Like, I may not be able to find the one in my head, but I have a friend named Michelle, and Michelle is amazing. And so I would never date Michelle. Like, we've been friends for way too long. But I could ask her about, like, hey, if I was trying to meet a girl like you or a woman like you, what should I say or where should I go? She could tell me all the inside because she's one of them. It's the same kind of thing.
Okay, yes, I'll hit her up next week then.
Okay. Actually, yes, you might want to wait to hit her up till after we finish next Thursday's class too. Give you an opportunity to work through how you're going to do target market. Because the other part about them, even with personal relationships, you try to use them as sparingly as possible. Not as sparingly, but you want to make sure that when you're going for research and stuff like that, you go as few times as possible, because you don't want, like, every time you call, it's like, oh, here he goes again. Yes, your business is fine. No, I wouldn't buy that. Okay. Up, here he goes again. Yes, I would buy that.
Okay.
Putting the questions together, by the end of next Thursday, we'll have like questions and stuff that you'll be able to go through and really get some meaningful information to really start shaping the business.
Okay.
Cool. Quishan, sir, do you have anything you want to share about any of the target customers you've selected? Mr. Holmes? All right, looks like he may be having some technology challenges as well. Mr. Holmes, when things resolve for you, if you can get back and let me know, so we can get you back on, and we can go over your people. Again, this is the Thursday class. The class is optional. Yeah. Let's see. Sorry. What was the other parts? So, is there anything about any questions that you all have about business that you want to ask me? Anything about the program? Anything? Because, like I said, this class is an opportunity for us to take a deeper dive and just address any of the stuff that you all want to talk through.
Do we have any questions?
Yeah, any questions, any statements, anything.
Doesn't Mm, okay. A question would be so do you feel so for me as a photographer and you're the consumer, do you think it's so say if like I don't have my prices up on my website,
Mm-hmm.
like if you would email me or you would DM me on Instagram or Twitter and you ask me, do you think that's a bad way to go about it? Because me personally, I feel like I don't like having my prices open to the internet. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like I'm about to like, oh, this one specific person, I'm gonna charge them more because I don't like them. It's like, it really for me, it really depends on what you're trying to do. And I have a
Absolutely.
set price for few things, but do you think from like a consumer standpoint, that's pretty shady?
It is not necessary. So this kind of goes back to what we were talking about the target market. If I am the target market, I like as much information up front as possible to make a decision. So for me, as the target market, I would be looking for prices. I would be looking for prices until I looked at enough websites and I realized that nobody had them. And then I'd be like, okay, now I need to do something else. Because a lot of times when I'm looking in the context of a larger budget or in the context of a budget. So I'd be very price sensitive. Additionally, since I'm not artistic and most of the things that I do don't have an artistic bent, I don't some of the accoutrement, the extra stuff, the stuff that only somebody into art or a photographer or a model or somebody who looks at pictures critically would pay attention to, I wouldn't pay attention to them. So like the young lady whose forum we were looking at, she is a phenomenal makeup artist. And so for her, she looks at pictures vastly different than I do. Like we'll look at a picture. I was like, oh, that looks nice. She said, no, but look at this and look at this and look at this. I was like, damn, this needs to be edited. And then she's like, this editor didn't do this right, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh wow, I wouldn't even recognize. So for her, she wouldn't be looking for prices on your webpage because she's in the business. I'm a novice. I'm
Okay.
on the outside. I would honestly, whether you showed up with I think it's an SLS camera or you showed up with an iPhone. I would honestly, when I got the pictures, I probably wouldn't know the difference. And I mean, like
Okay.
an iPhone 1, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And so depending on, this is why we go back to the target market. Because if your target market are people who are budget conscious, then you lead with the money. If you're going with people who are conscious of the quality, then you go with the recommendations, and you may have to spend some extra money on larger bandwidth and things like that to get the HD or the higher quality photos so that they can see. You may have to invest more in and talk about your editing services and the value of editing for some of these people who may be new to modeling and don't understand, oh, I could just take pictures because I'm pretty. It's like, you could, but if you get me to edit them, if you like, I was one of my board members at the chamber. He's a photographer as well, and what he has been doing is he has pivoted. He was telling us today he's pivoted to doing remote virtual consultations. And so what he did is that he had some clients of his go around their house with the phone or the camera that they were going to be using for their wedding photos, and he had them go around around their home and finding the best light and setting it up and helping them take pictures, and then he would over Zoom, and then they would send it to him and he would edit them. I think he may even sent them a camera or something. I can't remember the whole story. But do you see how that's a totally different target market than what you're talking about, right?
Okay.
And so somebody who's looking for that level of customization, they're not going to look to see what the prices are going to be online because they want the service, they want the quality. So they won't be looking for that. They're not going to be looking at how much is a package, how much are prints. That's what people who are in the mass market are looking
for. Okay. Okay, because I'm still like getting used to like have like sort of because like since the prices are always subject to change because every time I pick up on something new and I not master it or get really good at it, obviously I can keep upping my price because like I know what I'm doing. Like first, like last semester I was probably charging like 60, like let's say 50, 60 something dollars for like for graduation pictures now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I set my price at 85 because I know what I can do,
Mm-hmm.
and I know like how to take a photo, and I know what to do. You feel me? But I'm also like costumes are also broke too, so I'm not gonna charge them too much. I don't,
Absolutely.
I don't want to be that guy that's charging costumes like $150 for like 20 photos. You feel me? That's too much. Some people do that. I mean, I'm like, I don't see the purpose of that.
Well, but here's the thing, and so that is one of the issues, not even issues, but one of the things that we think about when you are trying to figure out who it is that you want to be in business. Because if you are looking to be, I'm all about my paper. My reputation is going to be one of an incredible photographer and a high-end photographer. So nobody comes to me if they got to ask me about the price. I just want people who are ready to drop money and do it my way.
I wish I want to be there.
But do you see? But you got a scale there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody just shows up day one. Like, who are you? The two questions entrepreneurs need to be able to answer on a regular basis is who are you and why does anyone care? Because that's what you're always having to prove. That's what you're always trying to get people to understand. Hey, I'm William Honolulu, and you should care because you want people to know that you are a photographer who is worth $150 a shot. Well, you need to figure out from them what it takes to be worth $150, not shot, but for a series of photos. Okay. What does it take? Because it doesn't matter how good you are. It matters how much they're willing to pay you. Okay. I used to be a resident director at Morgan, and I had to explain to my students there what cognitive dissonance was. And the way I explained it, I said, when you start freshman year, you see a young lady or a person, and you don't necessarily find them very attractive. You're like, that's not my type. But they carry themselves well, and they always behave like they're all what my mother used to say, all of that in a bag of chips. I don't even know anybody. Well, anyways, separate. But they carry themselves like that. So by sophomore year, it's like, oh no, I mean, she cool. By junior year, it's like, oh man, she cute, she my type. And by senior year, it's like, yo, why ain't we never get together? And nothing about her look has changed, but it's how she has carried herself that now all of a sudden, you, somebody who would not have given her the time of day initially, because of her consistency, because of her brand management, and because of her presentation, now you find yourself in a different position. The same thing as you moving through the ranks and the echelons of photography.
Okay.
And the cool part about owning your own business is that you get to choose what actually works and matters to you. If you, like, for me, I am not going to be the dude who is on Wall Street, making shit tons of money. To be honest, not because I couldn't, but two reasons. One, I didn't want to work that hard because it didn't make sense to me. It was all about how much money were you getting to make a few people rich. And I always thought that it was probably a better idea if I spent more time trying to help more people live better than just a few people be rich. And so I know that my business model is never going to be one where, I'm like, my target market is somebody who's writing, a five-figure, six-figure check for a consultation. That's not going to be it. I have friends who do that. That's just not for me. And so I am choosing this route. I am choosing to sit down with you guys and not ask you all for checks.
Yeah. Okay.
And so you get to choose whatever you want to be, whatever you want your business to be, whatever brand you want. If you want to be the high profile, high post photographer, get it, plan for it. And we can help. And that this program will help you plan to be that. If you want to be the dude who has the mass market and everybody knows that if you need some quality pictures, holla at Anthony, we can do that too. It's up to you.
I want to be that go-to guy. I just gotta keep learning and pushing and growing.
So something that you've brought up a couple times is that you believe that people's engagement with you or your ability to be successful in business is akin to the artistic talent that you possess.
Yeah, it's a few things. It's artistic talent, how well your business, your how well professional you are, and how well connected you are with people. Like, so I just took the girl Kayla I mentioned. Me and her did a shoot, like maybe a week and a half ago, right? I did her photos. She loved them. Her friends loved them. Now her friend just hit me up asking me how much does it cost for her to do this shoot, and then she said, "Scratch that. I want to do this concept with you." And then she told me that her friend had told me that she really loved the photos, so that's why she wants to work with me. So it really is about who you know. And another example is I just worked with these two big influencers on IG, one with 18K, one with 35K. And now, like, since they got their photos and one of them posted it, the guy that he's cool with has about 300K followers on Instagram and about 2 million followers on YouTube, right? He's like a big YouTube guy. Now he wants to do a shoot with me. So like you see, it's all about like oh, he's cool and he takes great photos right at this point.
So I want to take you're a generation behind, but you're on the right path. When my parents were growing up, they told them to work hard. When I was growing up, they told me to work smart, not hard. Work smarter, not harder. And
that's what I like doing. Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, except that's a couple generations old. I'm sorry. My parents taught me that it's not. Or what I learned growing up is not what you know, it's who you know. So it started off with my grandparents. Hard work will get you success, make you successful. Then my parents, it was work smarter, not harder. For me, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And what I am teaching my kids, it is not who you know, it is who knows you and what they say about you. Okay. Because like that wasn't necessarily something about who you know, because who you know is who do you know that can get you access. What happened with you is that people were talking about you in a place that you weren't even there. You didn't go to these other influencers. They saw your pictures and they contacted you. They talked to the people who took the you did the pictures for, and they realized that you were somebody they wanted to do business with. That's it. Like that's how it grows. People, you do all of those things, your artistry, your business savvy, and those types of things all add to who says what about you when you're not around.
Okay.
But make sure that you also understand that your sales skills, your sales and marketing skills will actually outperform, and on a business side, outperform your artistic skills for revenue generation. Okay. Now, I know you said you also wanted to make sure that that your work was celebrated and you, the artist, was celebrated. But I just also, because I don't do an arts program, I do the business part. So I'm hoping that your art person is telling you something similar about art. But did I tell you about the difference between Bill Gates and Steve Jobs? We talk about that?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay, so. I have huh? What'd you say, Reg? I thought Reggie said something. Because
I was saying I know we didn't talk about that.
Okay, because I'm an old man and I got a whole bunch of stories, so I try not to regale people too often with the same story. So that's why I was asking as I told it. So when Bill Gates and Steve Jobs started their companies roughly around the same time, they were both interns or whatever at IBM. And IBM was really about the machine. IBM didn't care about the software. They had the software, just because they needed the machine to run on something. And what they ended up doing, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs both created a software that was a derivation of, in some way, shape, or form, of the IBM software. Steve Jobs said that what he was going to create was the best software. He was going to make sure that it was user friendly, it was artistic, it was the GUI was intuitive, and it prevented people from messing stuff up in the background. Bill Gates said people don't understand quality when it falls on them, and they just want something easy to use and cheap. And so the differences in the two is that Steve Jobs made sure that the Apple, the software that he was writing, because he said if he's making the best software, why would it be on bad hardware? So he not only had the best, not only did he focus on developing software, he actually partnered with the Apple Corporation to make the best hardware for it. And they did. But fast forward, not too many years, Steve Jobs had gotten run out of his company, and Bill Gates was dominating the world world of internet browsers, because
Okay.
Bill Gates understood that the mass market didn't understand art. I mean, my cell phone, I have, I got a Galaxy Note 20. So my son broke his, so I gave him mine. I got the newest, greatest, latest. I'm sure that I could probably land a space shuttle with this phone, but yeah, I'm still struggling to
Probably.
make right. But I'm struggling to figure out how to use live focus right. So it does a whole lot of stuff that doesn't benefit me directly, but maybe one day it will, but I paid for it. And so the same thing with, and I didn't pay for it because of how great this camera or anything, it worked for me. It was consistent, it was convenient. So I am the type of customer, if I was part of your target, you're focusing on the convenience, the artistry won't matter to me. And so if you are
Okay.
looking, if you're specifically wanting to be appreciated as an artist, make sure that you weave that around your business model, but also recognize that it may mean that some of the short-term cash or some of the loose cash you may not be able to get because you don't sell real Louis Vuittons at a swap meet.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and you don't do
Makes
that
sense.
because of the people at the swap meet. You do that because the people who actually pay regular price for Louis Vuitton, they would be pissed at you.
Super. Okay.
So what else,
That makes sense.
gentlemen, what else you want to talk about? I mean, I'm here for another hour or so. So
I mean, Reggie, do you have any questions?
I think I have more questions revolving around resources
okay.
and kind of just what resources can this specific program offer us moving forward. I'm sure that we're going to talk about that down the line. That's why I was kind of waiting on bringing it up.
Oh, well, no. So it depends
This is
on
more
what.
so like the. Oh yeah, I was just about to ask that. I don't know if I have like this lag with my computer.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna have and what kind of people would more so fall into what we're doing. So I think the resources are gonna come later on in this program. That's why I was like, I don't want to jump the gun and go down that so soon. But
No, there is no gun jumping here. Like it, we're fine. Um, with the resources that we provide depend on what resources are needed. So, for example, Ashley, you will meet her later. She was part of the summer 20 cohort. There were only two of them. And Ashley she wrote 3 books on her own, and she's self-published. And she needed additional technology to help her streamline her processes. So we were able to coordinate with some of our network and get her some computer, a laptop, and a printer. Actually, also she needed a small capital infusion so that she could buy some more of her books to sell. And I was able to pull together a group out of my network to pull together some financing, and so we were able to give her a private placement loan, so that she could. And actually, she texted me earlier today, and her books were delivered today. I have some additional supplies for her, so she can start making some more money. There is no One of the things you'll learn about entrepreneurship, especially as you're putting together your plan, there is no one size fits all. There's no,
right,
unless of course you're doing franchising, and we hadn't planned on talking about that, but we can if you want to. There's no one size fits all. So to give everybody a tablet, or to get everybody cell phone access, or to get everybody legal services, or get everybody accounting services, that wouldn't make sense for everybody. So we figure out what are those things that we can provide that actually help you grow your business and make money as quickly as possible. And some of
gotcha.
it is
Okay,
also
perfect.
helping you understand what other resources are out there, because I've been doing this. I reached the age where I can say I've been doing this for 20 years. It's kind of funny. So I've been doing this for about 20 years, and one of the things I can say is that a lot of times entrepreneurs believe that their biggest obstacle is the lack of funding. And most of the time, that's not the case. It is poor planning. Because if you plan well enough, you can plan developing your funding or getting your funding together. But as Anthony was talking about, if you haven't planned well enough, like for Anthony and the models that may hit you up last minute, well, what you can let them know is you can create a schedule that says, I do last minute appointments, but I only do last minute appointments on these days at these times. Anything else is after the last minute, and we don't do it. We don't do that. And so, I'm letting you know, Reggie, we provide resources, or we help you access resources. If we have them, if we can get them for you, absolutely. Sometimes it may even be an opportunity for you to get in front of a client. We can't guarantee anything, but we can at times put you in front of somebody who could utilize your services. Or even real talk, help you. One of the things that we have been talking about, but I'm not sure where we are with it, is to allow Fosterpreneur to help do back office business stuff. Because one of the things that, working with a couple of the other graduates of the program over the years, realizing that they may be good at the thing that they do, but keeping records, the accounting part, the marketing part, those types of things have been some of the issues they've had challenges with. And so we've talked about kind of bringing those services internally and providing support to alumni of our program, so that we set up the marketing plan and pull together the resources for marketing and do maybe a revenue sharing or something like that. But those conversations are still in the early phases, and it would probably have to do a lot with what the opportunity or what the business was.
Right. Gotcha.
Does that work?
Time when I don't have like a personal, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It was a delay.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I figured it was. But I feel like me personally, I think I have a harder time when I don't have a personal connection with the people in my network.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like we've talked or we went to school together or we communicate regularly,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I find it harder to reach out to people that I don't have that kind of, I guess, closer knit relationship with. So I think that's something that I'm definitely trying to get better at and work on.
Yeah, actually, when we talk about the portions on sales, that is one of the big pieces. Is that most of the time, well, not most of the time, a lot of times we feel we're comfortable where we're comfortable. So the people that you already have this commonality,
Right.
this background, and so you don't have to try to figure out what to talk to. But as we started talking about how do you networking is, they call it networking. But for people in sales, that's always prospecting. You're always out looking for the next sale. You're always out sharing information about your business, and you're always in that mode of how do I get you in to take money out of your pocket and put it into mine. Again, not exploitively, and not in many cases not all that aggressively, off-puttingly, but enough that you can keep people interested. Again, relationship. It's kind of like the person who flirts with everybody.
4X.
What'd you say?
I said 4X.
4X?
Yes, it was a joke.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is we're not going to include the old guy in the joke. That's absolutely appropriate, but I had to call it out for a second. But it's fine.
Oh, you don't know what you know what 4X is?
No, I have no idea. I thought it was a white tee.
Well, you're not missing out on nothing. It's nothing of interest.
Okay, cool in the gang. But so as what was I saying? Oh, actually, I have no idea what I was finishing saying, but pivoting a little bit. Reg, is it Reginald, Reggie, Reg? What do we call you?
Yeah, I go by Reggie.
Reggie. Okay, cool.
Reggie's perfect.
Cool. So I used to think I think it was like 2000, maybe 2001, 2002. Yeah, I think it was like in the early 2000s. I started an online radio station because I had gone out and was hitting the spoken word and neo soul scene, and I found a lot of really good independent artists who were like, you can get a CD from them and just let it bump, and it was wonderful. You could just hit random, and every song was wonderful. The problem was you could only get them, when you saw them someplace for $10 out of a book bag. Like they didn't have any distribution mechanisms or anything like that. And I was like, well, wait a minute. I know shit about distribution mechanisms. I'm good at the business part. And so and I realized that, just doing that outright wasn't going to be helpful. So what I did is I created a platform, kind of streaming podcasts before streaming was in the early days of streaming, when you had to do the RTTS file protocol. And so I had to do a lot of, and as I was working with more and more artists, started help, just advising them on some of their legal challenges and things like that. So I should be able to really help you think through how you can manage and what you can offer, because a lot of what we're going to talk about in the next go round is how do you position what you offer to people in a way that gets them to change their behavior. You're trying to manipulate them, getting them to change their behavior, because they don't even know who you are. They weren't going to give you the money. So now you're trying to convince them to give you the money and take the services from you. And so I thought about that Tuesday, that I think I'll be able to really help you structure that. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem. Keyshawn, tell me about, remind me what services you're offering again.
They would be educational services to elementary students.
Okay, so that's cool. That's cool. So a couple of things that you may want to consider, if you are looking at doing a school, you have to get licensed by either the Board of Education if it's K through 12, or the Maryland Higher Education Commission if it's 18 and above. The things with the Higher Education Commission is that you need to make sure that, well, not make sure, but it would be helpful if it's to become a private career school, that they have, the application is all online and things like that. And they're two different ones. One, if you're going to be a for-profit and charging people, and then there's a separate one if you're going to be a nonprofit and not charging the students, but your funding comes for grants and stuff like that.
Okay. So you said the Maryland Higher Education Commission?
Yep, MHEC. It's a state agency that licenses, licenses private career schools. And again, I know you're talking about 6 through 12. That's going to be what the other thing that was, 6 through 12. Aha. 6 through 12. One of the things that I would suggest that you start doing, or at least contemplating, is that looking nationally at the requirements to have high school programs in each state. So each state has their own requirements for education, right?
Yeah.
Some of those requirements are a lot more liberal than others. So if you can, and cost, some of them are more costly than others. So if you can find a state with a lower requirement, a lower paperwork to entry and lower cost, you can start faster. And many of them, I think Florida, for example, because they have such a transient population, a lot of schools, and you don't have to actually live in Florida to get a high school diploma from Florida. So just thinking. Aisha, did you come off mute on purpose? I don't think she did. So if you if let's say Florida allows that, right? So you open a K through 12 online, quote unquote, in Florida, and you can service anybody around the world, and they'll have a degree, a high school diploma from Florida.
Okay.
So as you are thinking about it, don't just get yourself locked into the geography, because now, especially now that we've been forced virtually and people are starting to adopt it, like, again, a lot of people don't like it, but they have adopted it. And you'll also have some people who have health conditions. And actually, one of the things that I'm finding talking to educators is that there may actually now be a movement of well-behaved students in public schools who don't want to go back into the building, because a lot of them are able to learn now in a way that they couldn't before. Because go ahead and try to disrupt my classroom on Zoom. I'll put you in the waiting room and mute your mic. Like, so they're able to learn and engage the teacher in a way that they weren't in a traditional classroom. So as you are thinking about your K through 12 education, you actually may want to brand yourself as the AP kind of thing, the elite, the academic, the rigorous academic program, and focus on trying to attract that, especially if you're going to mix it with what your I think you mentioned that there was a religious turn that you had on some of these things, and so if you were mixing like say again.
Yeah, so right now I service Islamic families from foreign nations.
And so,
but I also have experience with the African American population volunteering as a Bible studies facilitator at a Baptist church.
And so if you can, you have the ability, even with those two things, to talk about an interfaith, based on, because I mean, I'm sure you've seen it, but working with the Muslim population and the Christian population, the overlaps in some of the values, the iconography may be different, but like the traditional family values, the value on love, the value on connectivity, those are the same, so that you will be able to offer them a virtual experience for gifted and talented students that is based on a unifying moral principle. And that will also help you set yourself apart and maybe even get you some traction in the international space.
Mm-hmm. I've, so far in my studies for business administration online degree program at American Intercontinental University, in one of my classes, in the basics of, business and things like that, I learned about the International Monetary Fund.
IMF, yeah. So actually, if you were, what I would suggest to you is that the World Bank, especially for entrepreneurship and business management, the World Bank has a lot more resources to talk about practical application. Because the IMF actually IMF is wonderful because they handle the money internationally. But the World Bank has an area of emphasis on small businesses and trying to end poverty worldwide. And so a lot of their information is that they, and some of it we use to help inform how we put together Fosterpreneur. Because what they are looking at is communities like ours who are, there's a disinvestment, where nobody's putting a lot of capital in the Black communities for small businesses and things like that. So the World Bank realized that this wasn't just, I mean, in America, it's, unique, not unique, but it's exacerbated for Black people. The World Bank realized that, hey, this is actually happening a whole lot of places. So they started looking at, for those countries that were more willing to try to help their marginalized populations than the US, they've been doing projects like this for like 20, 30 years. And so there's a lot of information about what happens and what they've learned and stuff like that.
And how about my credit? I have an average credit score right now, so that would have to be amended to gain additional funding, right?
That's who.
Where does that?
Remember, funding is getting somebody to take money out of their pocket and put it into yours. Depending on what you need, how you need, who you need it from, when you need it, will kind of drive that. If your only options, the way it normally works is that the first generation of funding is self-funding. The second generation is friends and family. Unfortunately, in many of our communities, we don't have friends and family who have money that just invest in our businesses. And so what ends up happening is that we have to jump to the third level, which is debt funding. And the earlier that debt funding comes into your business, the less equity that you're going to have in the longer term. And so please don't take this for me saying that debt is bad. Debt is actually not bad. What ends up happening is that people end up using it poorly because nobody has explained it to them how to effectively use it in a business context. And so part of your business plan may be developing your credit score, but some of it may be trying to figure out, what do you need to do to not need a credit score? So is there a way that you can start doing enough services in advance and living well below your means so you can just start stacking cash? Or should we think about the services and should we inflate the prices a little bit so that you can get more cash to do some of these larger things?
Yes. Yeah, and utilize the Forex trading marketplace, Forex trading.
Oh, so this is the Forex thing again. Okay, all right. So apparently now I got some shit to Google. To hell with all y'all.
Hello?
I got a request. So to talk about again, the resources that Fosterpreneur can provide. We provide the resources that the individual student or the individual participant needs. Not everybody's going to need a computer, so we're not trying to get everybody a computer. Not everybody's going to need a lawyer, so we're not trying to get everybody a lawyer. We try to figure out what it is because at the end of this, you'll have your business plan, not just the one that you can show people and impress them that you completed a business plan, but it will be an actual plan that you can start. And you really should have started by that point implementing. Because nobody gives a fuck if you have a nice sheet of paper that you keep on the shelf.
Of all the characteristics, which one do you sense God most wants to talk?
I'm not sure what that. Okay, I'm not sure what that was happening. I think somebody was talking.
Is someone speaking?
Yeah, I didn't know.
That was my background. I'm in another class.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, because I was like, wait, what the hell is happening? Yeah. I think we lost Anthony. So again, we found the resources that you need. By the time we finish this, oh, here he is. He's coming back. By the time you finish this, you'll have a plan that you can implement and that you should have been, at least starting to implement in your business. And that's cool. And then we'll figure out what resources you need, and whichever ones we can help you access, those are the ones we're going to get you. Like I can tell now that there's a couple of people that I know. One of them is a really good friend of mine, to really work with Reggie and get him out and about, to get him to meet people and start expanding his network. There are a couple of other cats that I know that are in music and stuff like that you may be able to link up with. And so, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you, Anthony.
My mic was acting really dumb. My bad.
It's cool. So it just really depends on what it is that you need so we can get it for you.
Gotcha.
Who else? What else?
Okay. Do you think, like, moving forward for all of us, do you think, like, say if our friends have businesses, this might be kind of not a wild question, but like, say if our friends have businesses and we want to buy a part of their business, how does that? Do you think that's possible? Or
no, it's not only so. I had not planned to cover that in this, but I'm more than happy to. Like I really do, because I think one of the things that Eric and I talked about in kind of the more advanced classes that we're planning to do for Fosterpreneur in 2021 is talking about acquisition as a growth and sustainability strategy. Because in the African American community, there's this mythos that if you didn't do it yourself, if you didn't bootstrap it, and if you didn't do everything, then it's not worth it, which isn't actually true. And so what we want to do is to help people, help people understand, how do you start determining, even if that's something that you might want to do? What kind of, they talk about due diligence. How do you even select a lawyer? How do you look at their books? Little things like, if you're trying to buy into a business and they don't have good books, well, how do you even know what you're buying? If they don't have all their documentation in order, what are you actually getting? And so that's one of the things. Again, we hadn't planned on doing that, but if you all want me to, maybe we can make that one of the Thursday classes later on, to just kind of go over at a high level acquisition as a business strategy. Oh, also, I put in the chat a while ago, I'll share it again, an opportunity to schedule an appointment. I get a link to schedule an appointment with me. Please use that because, and that might be a place, if let's say the whole buying into somebody's business isn't something that everybody wants to talk about, you might want to decide to schedule an appointment with me and we can sit down and chop that up one-on-one.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good.
Cool. What else?
Um,
Remember, there are such things as stupid questions, but this is where you're supposed to ask them.
um, uh, hmm. Oh, will you show us how to develop a business model?
Actually, this entire program is designed to help you develop the business model.
Okay. I thought it was gonna be like an actual like. Oh, I know there's a formula to it, but like I mean like
No,
I'm
there's
a very
not.
visual person. I'm
They-
talking about like a
okay, so you're
spreadsheet
talking
type of
about a
thing.
process flow.
Yeah, I'm very visual.
Okay, so when I talk about, for me, a business model is the archetype upon which a business is made. So it's not an act, is not the graphic thing. So for me, the graphic, the flow chart and things like that, that's a graphic representation of the business model. So yes to both of those.
Okay.
So you'll have a business model, and we'll also be able to reduce it down to a graphic flow. Let me see if I have one.
Mm.
Because I write business plans sometimes, well, for a living. Let me see. It's one of those things like when you're looking for that one thing that you did that one time and you find everything beside it, that will accept it. Mm-hmm.
Dang, this is going like crazy.
So let's see. Is this
I
what you're
think
talking
I think the
about?
most important part. Oh
No, real quick, Anthony, is this what you're talking about?
yeah, it's coming up.
Oh, I
Wait,
mean this one.
wait, hold up. Oh yeah. So wait, some of that. Yeah. Wait. Consumer says appointment. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we
Yep.
can. We could. Yes, that's part of this. My entire motive or method involves developing these types of things, because what happens is without step-by-step instructions for this kind of for your business, you actually have to make it up all on the fly, and a lot of people aren't good with that. And what happens is that if you make stuff up on the fly, you haven't planned for, and you may not even have the resources necessary to execute effectively.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yes, we'll get that for you. That's not a problem. Anybody else? Anything else?
Um.
Not at the moment.
Well, what did you say,
Cool.
Reggie?
No, he was saying not at the moment. So I mean,
No, I just said not right now.
I don't have anything else for you all. I'm gonna hang around here for a little while longer, but if you all want to check out, please feel free to do so. No, if you
All
want
right.
to
Well,
talk,
thank you so much for your time, William.
no problem, no problem at all. I'm looking forward to seeing you all on Monday.
Likewise, sounds good. You said the video is gonna be
Tomorrow,
sometime later today.
tomorrow. I'm
Wait,
gonna
you
Tomorrow.
try
said
to have.
you said seeing us.
Okay,
You said
perfect.
see us Monday.
I said I will see you all Monday. The video should be up tomorrow. I was gonna try to have it up tonight, but I don't think I'll have it finished by tonight. But it'll definitely be up by tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
We'll talk about everything else on Monday.
Yep.
We don't have anything
Okay.
else left today. We're gonna talk about everything else on Monday.
Yes,
Okay.
we will.
Okay.
All right, you guys have a great night.
All right.
Yes.
Good.
Catch you later.
Peace out.
Peace.
Um, I'm really trying to get down like a solid digital marketing scheme.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I, all my stuff, how I have to promote my work is all like platform wise, like Twitter,
Absolutely.
social media, like Twitter's, Instagram, Facebook, all of that.
Yep.
So I'm trying to see like how I can make like different initiatives and how to kind of like promote. Because like right now I am gaining interaction more. Like I found that being more transparent with my followers actually engages them more with you, which is I'm a really like private person, so I don't like that transparency stuff. But I was just like, I did like a little post and that my interactions went up by like tenfold by doing that. So I was just like, okay, that makes sense.
Right, because it's social media. People want to be social. They want to interact. Actually, one of the reasons that Donald Trump has been, in my opinion, has been as successful as he has is that he let people into his life and they feel like he's family, their family. They feel like
That
they
makes
actually
sense.
know him. Now, not that
That makes
they
sense.
do or he cares about them, but that's how he's
That's
made them feel.
that's what my friend said. She said like you got to make it seem like they know you, but in reality they really don't.
Absolutely.
Type of thing.
Yes.
Okay.
And again, this is why we focus back in on the target market. And it will be easy for you to get caught up in the marketing and miss the opportunity for the substantive business opportunity. So making sure that you are focused on who is your target market, because you could have all the followers you want, but what is your conversion rate? How many of them people are giving you money?
Right.
That's the thing. So making sure that as you are figuring out what is the formula for you about promotion and stuff, it has to revolve around the target customer, the people that you want to get money from, because it could be you could love your engagement, you could love what you post, but you're not writing a check to yourself, so your opinion doesn't actually matter.
Okay, that makes sense. That's what I was saying, because likes and social media don't equate to money at all.
They
So
do not. And
I
so
wish
what
it
do
did.
you? Yeah, right. Absolutely. But so the question becomes, what do you do to move people from like to money? So as you are talking to your friends and the people that you are working with, asking them like when they see, how long do they follow a photographer before they reach out to them? What make them reach out to them?
It depends. It depends on how much they know you. And from what I noticed that from like my first year, well, I'm still in my first year, so I haven't finished complete year yet. But um, uh, I've noticed that it's all about, like you said, from my personal opinion, it's about like how well your work is. Um, how many people of that person have worked with you. So say if like your friend worked with me, right? Then like, oh hey, he takes great photos. He worked with my friend worked with him. Let me go hit him up, type of thing, right? That's
Absolutely.
one. How personable you are on social media, like I said, being like very transparent, type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the quality of your work. Honestly, it really depends on the quality of your work. Like, obviously, you have to know what your audience likes. If my audience likes
Yes.
cotton candy, balloon type of vibes, and that's all I post, they're going to attract that. But if I have people who like dark aesthetic and cool type of colors, but I don't post that, they're going to most likely end up following me, because that's not what they're looking for.
You are right on top. You're right on target with really focusing in on what is it that you do for your target market. What are they willing to give you money for? When you stay focused on that, there you go. Because that means that you're perpetually in that sales mode, getting the money.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Like, it also depends on what type of photography you do too. If you're a big wedding photographer and that's all you focus on weddings, and if you're good at that, you're solid. You're set. That's it.
No,
and you have a contract. You're very professional with what you're doing.
That's not all that true, sir.
What do you mean?
So I've had to learn a lot about the beauty industry in the last few years. So one, securing weddings are not as easy as one would hope. Two, working a wedding, the logistics up to it, the negotiation with the bride, and then the last minute changes sometimes makes that money not good money. And so sometimes, it's good. It may be good cash, but all the work, the extra, and the hassle that you may have to go through may not make it always worth it. And then, I've also had some people having to, somebody actually one lady, the wedding got called off, and one of the vendors who was one of my clients was like, well, it's after, I think her contract with the party was 30 days notice to get like a 75% refund. And this was like 28 days. And she was like, and she felt bad. She was like, this woman is experiencing the worst time in her life. And I'm about to stick her for half the cost of the gig because it's a non-refundable deposit.
That makes sense. Okay.
So again, not saying that it's not a good place, because I do know people who do makeup, wedding DJs, wedding photographers who make good money and they love that. But I just want to make sure that it's a thing. It's not just, oh, everybody's happy, it's the best day of life. And then when the bride breaks down, and to delete those pictures, make sure that none of them look fat. Oh my God, what's wrong with them? Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you're right. There is more like a strenuous part to it than what I'm thinking about.
Right. Now,
Yeah, okay.
when you get to the boss level, is when your job is to make the deals and get the contract and get the money, and you send somebody else out who loves doing that kind of stuff to take the photos for you.
Having like an associate photographer.
Absolutely. That honestly,
I do want to one of my biggest goals is to have a production team. Like I have so I'll be the main photographer, but then have like a backup photographer, a hairdresser, a makeup artist, a stylist, a creative director. I want to have like all of that. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, we all have to find, like, that's a business now. That's like you call that something entrepreneurship thing.
So what you all can do is that there's a number of ways that you can do it. You all can have one. So one of the things that I'm thinking, like the way you're describing it off the top, is that everybody puts in and everybody owns the company.
Basically, yeah.
So it's no like, oh, you get this, you get that. It's like, no, we all own this. We are all building this from, a small business micro enterprise, and we all chipping in, and this all belongs to all of us.
Yeah, but I have to find a way for them to all make the money. Because say if they book me, the photographer, but they don't want to book the makeup artist, so how is she gonna get her bread? You know what I mean? Or the hairdresser.
But the thing is that you all offer packages all together, and then you also
realize. Okay.
And there's also going to be times where some people get some money and some people don't. So if they're hitting up the photographer, if they're hitting up you as the photographer, let's say, and I'm making up numbers, let's say you charge $700 normally if it was just you, but because you're part of the squad, you charge $750, $800, and 100 of that peels off goes back to squad, even because that money goes back to the team. But if everybody's doing a package, then then that money that goes to squad gets built in.
Okay, I see what you mean. Alrighty. One day, because I mean, like I said, this is my first year, so that's just really like in the future goals, but that makes sense though.
Yep.
Okay.
What else, sir?
That's well, no, I mean, most of this is like photography stuff, like this ideas I have, like not ideas, but like concepts and stuff. But
okay,
that's like the biggest thing. Though I definitely want like a production team, because I've like obviously it's fun for me coming up with concepts for people, but after a while it gets like a lot, because it's like damn, not have to really think about it, and I don't have no like a stylist, like I have to kind of tell them what to buy, because I'm not a stylist, so I'm not, I have to kind of like direct them to where to go. Right. Not to a stylist, but like to go what to buy. So if I had like an actual kind of team with me, like, at least 2 to 3 makeup artists, at least like 1 or 2 hairdressers, and like, 1 stylist, that's like, that's pretty solid and does, a great job. I feel like, that's when I get more, like I have a more solid foundation business and an actual, LLC, and I'm like pretty well known. That's what I feel like, I can start
So-
doing it. But right now I have to kind of like, work my way up.
So one, please make sure that you recognize that you made all of that up in your head.
What do you mean?
Who said that to you? Who
That I need
said
that?
Yeah.
Nobody. This is something I want.
I understand, but I'm sorry, that's my point. I want you to make sure that you understand that these are the limitations and things that you're putting on yourself. Because, one of the things that I've seen happen from time to time is that people want to give, and I hate saying it this way, but more credit to their customers than their customers have earned. And so like you want them to have this great experience. From one, they make sure that they're paying for the great experience, and two, make sure that they want that. A young lady
Okay.
I was dating recently, she was like, she went and got her nails done, and she was like, "Do you like it?" I was like, "I like you. I don't care what your nails look like." But for her, that wasn't something that she had ever heard before. So she wanted to make sure that and she kept asking me what I like. I was like, "I like it, okay." But she wants, it was a bigger deal for her. You know what I mean? It was a bigger deal for her than it was for me.
Okay, I see what you mean.
And so you out here like, look at
I see
my
what you mean.
fingers, look at my fingers. They're done. And your customer's like, whoa, okay, all right, yay, pretty. Yeah, jewels. All right, cool.
Okay. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm cool. Like so working ground up. That's just something I wanted for myself as I got older. Not older, but like bigger, I guess. But like, I mean, I enjoyed it like the slower, not the slower. I enjoyed the learning process and like growing aspect of it all though. So no one told me I needed that though. I don't need it. It would be great, but I don't technically need it.
Make
want.
sure you know it's great because it's something. Make sure you know it's great is because it's something that your customers want to give you more money for.
That too, yeah.
Because if it's just great for you, recognize that that's part of your payout. So when you if you, let's say you like taking pictures of a particular model more than another. So normally you may do 20 pictures, but for this particular model, you do 30. It's because you like working with the model. Make sure you understand that you are costing yourself those 10 extra pictures for your like, not your money, but for your like. And it's okay if you choose that. No, because let's say because you like working with the model. So you're paying those 10 extra pictures are part of the cost of you doing what you like, not doing something for money.
Yeah, I've done it before.
Understand, and it's cool to do it. I just want to make sure that as we're talking about building the business, you recognize that that's a cost that you're willing to pay. It's fine if you are, but make sure you do, because you got to pay. Somebody's got to pay for it, and it's not your customer.
Okay.
So, like for me, for me today, one of my former colleagues gave me a call to get some help on a law school paper that she's writing, and I was, I charged her like $20. Normally, to sit down with a lawyer to have a conversation about a hypothetical case, it costs you $7,500.
Oh, I see what you mean.
So I cost myself $55 because I wanted to help a friend.
Okay, so my next question would be to you is, you know how like a whole friend discount thing? Do you believe you should never devalue yourself for your friends because that's a part of the business and you should just always charge them the same amount of price if you would charge like a stranger?
It depends. It depends on the friend. It depends on the relationship. Because remember, in business, we talked in the video, I told you your social support network is going to be as important to you as anything else in business life. So if they are part of that network, then sometimes you cut them a break. But what I try to do often is to make sure my friends understand how much things cost and that I'm giving it to you for free. So for example, one of my best friends, she's having some custody issues and I'm going to represent her at no cost, but I am going to send her a bill. But at the bill, it'll be, whatever I charge her, and then it's going to be a discount, all of that. And the balance is going to be zero, but I need to let her know that she is getting value. This isn't just some shit I do for free, for fun. Like this is work for me, but I care enough about you and your situation that I'm giving you this for free.
Okay, that makes sense.
the other part too is that for me, it really makes me
Yeah,
understand.
you said friend of value, right?
Yeah, you show your friend the value. So
Friendship?
no, the friend of the work. So my friend, she's having a custody. She's one of my best friends. She's having a custody problem. As a lawyer, I'm going to represent her. I'm not going to charge her any money to represent her, but I'm going to send her an invoice with however much it was going to cost. I'm going to give her a discount of that entire amount and say that the balance she owes me is zero. But I need her to understand how much it's costing me to do this. She needs to understand the value.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Because she's not going to give me any money, but I need her to know that this is how much this would cost you.
If I didn't know you.
If I didn't know you, it would cost you this. Because
Do you think that would rub somebody the wrong way?
I don't give a fuck. I'm doing this shit for free. Like, and plus, I spend a lot of my time not caring about people's feelings.
Okay.
So you know, so not that not that I don't care, but when it comes to like business stuff, I really push past that. It's like, I love you, but these are facts. This is the thing. And so
okay.
I'm doing this for free. If me letting you know how much me doing shit for you for free rubs you, then I don't need to do it for you for free. You could write me a check or write somebody else a check. I'm not for everybody, and that's okay. If you are really going to blow a gasket over the fact that I gave you I'm sorry. The other part is my friends would expect something like that from me. Don't act brand new because you're in business and then be like, blah, blah, blah. Talk to them beforehand. Let them know like, oh, cool. I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to send you the invoice, but you're not going to have to pay anything on it. It'll be a discount on it. For my record, what you do is you tell them for my record keeping, because you keep those records. Because the other part for you, what it does is it shows you how much business you're giving away.
Okay.
Because, you know, when you don't have a number associated with, oh, it's just a couple hours, it's just a couple of this, it's just that, oh, it's just it's just a photo shoot, maybe 3-4 hours, 2-3 hours. It's not even a long photo shoot. It's only like an hour. But then when you realize how much you would have charged somebody for that and you just gave that to a friend, then you start thinking about like, well, damn, I really do like that person because I just gave this motherfucker like $80.
Yeah. But that's only a few amount of people I would ever do that for, though.
But do you see how even if you do it for a few of them, you need to keep a record of how much, because that's still part of your budget. Because that's time you're not making money. That's time you're giving money away. So you need to build that into your budget, build that into your operations, because you just spent that.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. I do need to get an invoice thing. Like I'm not sure how to make one.
Cool. And again, there is no magic. We're gonna cover that later. If you want to go over some of these questions, like your invoicing and tactical stuff, you got the link right for the appointment.
Yeah, I got the link.
Yeah, then just schedule an appointment. We can actually go over what should be included in invoice, and you know how I have to modify my invoices sometimes depending on who I'm sending them to. So like there's some organizations that, you know, if your invoice is laid out like this, it gets processed faster. If it has this type of information, it gets processed faster. Like I remember one of them, it's something as simple as having a place for them to sign on my invoice to route their process actually made my stuff go faster.
Okay.
But it's again,
I'll set up an appointment to do that.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, because I need to get that, so I have like a money trail of like what went out and like what's, you know.
Do you use PayPal or Cash App for your transactions?
PayPal, Cash App and Cash.
Okay. Make sure that even when you do cash, that you keep a record of it. We'll talk through about one of the homework assignments is going to be you all putting together kind of a financial account on one of these systems.
Ooh, excuse me. Okay. I do want to set up like a business account for like my photography, so like I know where the money goes.
I'm sorry, not through a bank, but through like QuickBooks or Wave or Zero or something like that.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I was talking about in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, yeah, okay. I appreciate your time.
No problem, sir. No problem at all. If you need anything else, you got the link. Schedule an appointment. We'll make it happen.
I got you.